Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Listen, I'm gonna get it together, okay? First, I want to apologize. I want to apologize for not going live yesterday because I said, okay, we're gonna try this again once a week around 12:30 to 1. That will be the block on Wednesdays to go live because that's when I have the most energy, given my very busy days that I had. But didn't happen yesterday because I had a meeting, staff meeting that I completely forgot about. So I couldn't do it yesterday at noon, around 12:30, and my plan was to do it in the evening around 6:30. But then baby girl said, "Mom, can you take me to Bible study?" And I'm like, I couldn't tell her no, y'all. I couldn't tell her no. So, but my apologies, okay? I'm going to try to get better at that. Now, I will be sure to check the chat to see if anybody logs on um while I'm doing this talk. But I'm gonna go ahead and get straight to it, okay? Because my goal is to just learn how to be on topic, stay on topic, get some structure, and be mindful of time, right? All those things. So, as you can see from the title of this live, we're talking about how motivation alone is not enough. And what a timely topic, okay? Because I'm starving, I'm hungry, I don't feel prepared. I don't feel like I'm ready to do this live, but I'm here, right? There's so many things that if I had more time to do, I would do. Like I'm still waiting to get my hair braided. Not gonna go on a tangent, but I'm still waiting to get my hair braided. I have been having such a busy month already. December is going to be very busy for me. Next week I'm traveling. Then the week after that is my birthday. Then we have Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. We volunteering. It's a lot going on, y'all. So please, I will receive all of the grace in advance. Thank you so much. But getting back on topic, why motivation alone is not enough. So quick story. So because I've been doing a lot of thinking, y'all. A lot of thinking, a lot of reflecting. I'm in the season of my reflection. Just I don't know, just reflecting a lot. And I was just thinking about how I recently celebrated an accomplishment, which I consider to be an amazing accomplishment of mine, where I have been working out consistently for 100 workouts. Okay, so I'm gonna clap it up for myself. That's major. 100 consistent workouts. And I'm gonna show it to you all, so you don't think I'm just capping, as they say. How you doing, Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews? Good to see you. But I'm going to show y'all this so that y'all don't think I'm just saying this because it was surreal even for me. When I saw it, I'm like, whoa. Okay, so now I'm at 104 days. Okay, you see that? Let's see if I can. Now I don't know if I can do this. Okay, wait a minute. 104 days. Okay, 104 days of consistent workouts. And so I asked myself, Nasheia, how are you able to stay consistent? Because half of these workouts you did not want to do. You complain, you grunted, you just told yourself at times you're going to do it halfway, but you did them. Why? And the reason why is because I made a commitment that I'm going to be a person that work out. Okay. I'm going to be a person that take my health more seriously. I'm going to be a person that's going to be consistent with working out. I'm not going to make no excuses. So if I'm tired, if I'm hungry, if I'm sad, I'm gonna work out. If I have to work out sad, I'll work out sad. If I have to work out angry, I'm gonna work out angry. If I'm depressed, I'm gonna have to work out depressed and just do the best I can in that situation, in that for that workout. And so that's what I did. And so what that taught me was that I used to rely very heavily on motivation, y'all. Very heavily. Like if I didn't feel like doing something, I would not do it. Even when it came to these are things that I enjoy doing, but I'm human, right? We're human. We don't always feel like doing stuff. And so I used to rely on that. Even when it came to doing YouTube or going live, okay, man, I don't feel like it. And I used to think that if I showed up when I didn't feel like it, then I was doing a disservice to the people, right? The viewers, because I was not my best self because I didn't feel like it. But then the Lord showed me that for a long time, I was really how did he show it to me? That I was chasing like dopamine, right? Like I had an unhealthy relationship with dopamine, not in a sense of where I was doing no drugs or nothing like that. Okay, I don't want y'all to get the wrong idea, but just I guess what made it unhealthy was that if I didn't have a dopamine rush, I wasn't going to do it. Okay, besides the things that I absolutely had to do If I didn't feel like doing it, if I didn't feel good and passionate, then I was not going to do it. But the Lord showed me that that's unhealthy. And so I wanted to just share a few points with you as to why motivation is not enough. Okay. So, point number one. Well, does this sound familiar to you? Faith, family, and fun reviews. Let me know. Can you relate? Have you ever felt like, you wanted to do something, you had a goal and you would do it for a little bit, but then when the motivation wore off, you feel like you couldn't stick with it? I know I can't be the only one. I cannot be the only one. And I know there's no one else here right now. So, I don't have that confirmation from nobody, but I know I'm not the only one. Um, but yeah, let me know your thoughts in the chat or if you're watching this later in the comments. So 2 points and I'm going to be done, right? 2 points and I'm done. Point number one, why motivation alone is not enough. Because the feeling is fleeting and it fades away. Okay? When you get excited about doing something, you get motivated to do something. In the beginning, you're excited because it's new, it's novel. It's just like, oh my gosh, you just get passionate. You just feel good. And in your brain, you think you're going to do this all the time. You ain't never going to have no bad day because you're so passionate about it and you're going to just do it. Okay, but that fades. Okay? And that's fleeting. Anything um okay, faith, family, and fun reviews. You can relate. Thank you. I know I wasn't the only one, but we know that motivation is fleeting. And let me tell y'all something, okay? Well, I'm telling you this, faith, family, and fun reviews, because you don't even want to hear. Okay, so you better get a little inside scoop about me. I used to want to be a motivational speaker. Like if you would have asked me when I was in my 20s, yeah, early 20s. That was around the time when I lost my mom. I used to tell myself I wanted to be a motivational speaker. And why did I want to be a motivational speaker? Because I wanted to help people to overcome adversity. I wanted to share my life story with people and to share with them how I was able to overcome all the obstacles in my life and the adversities in my life. And these are things that my family would tell me. They would affirm me and that, like, Nasheia, like, we're so proud of you because this happened to you and this happened to you and this happened to you. Despite that, you were able to do X, Y, and Z. And so I used to tell myself, well, I want to share this with other people. I want to be a motivational speaker. But you know what, Lord, the Lord is so funny. Okay, it's so funny because at that time when I wanted to be motivational speaker, I didn't know nothing about the Lord. I didn't know nothing about the Lord, and it took some things to happen in my life that made me humble to the point where I realized that on my own, I can't do nothing. Okay. So I can't get up here on this stage and tell people if I can do it, you can do it. The classic motivational speech. I cannot do that because I'm now at a point where I can't even motivate myself. So how am I going to motivate somebody else? Okay. And what the Lord showed me is that it's not that he hasn't called me to be a motivational speaker because my purpose is to encourage people, but my purpose is to encourage people to point them to Christ. So that's more ministry based. Motivational speaker is all about look at me, give me the praise, give me the glory. Look at what I was able to do. Let me motivate you. But ministry, the same, similar, is similar in the sense that um you are encouraging people, but you're pointing them to Christ because it was Christ who ultimately helped me when I could no longer help myself. Okay. So that's point number one. So whether you're trying to start a business or you're starting a YouTube channel, maybe like myself, or you're going back to school for that next degree, or you writing a book, you might get excited in the beginning. But the Lord has revealed to me, if you rely on motivation alone, it's not going to last long term. So he's going to have to mature you from the point where you're always relying on that dopamine hit because it ain't gonna always be there. And you're gonna have to learn how to be consistent even in the mundane. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, when the feelings fade and you lose motivation, you slow down or stop. And here comes guilt and shame. Let me raise my hand. Okay, how many times have I felt guilt and shame by telling you all, hey, I'm gonna do live, or I'm gonna edit my videos, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and it didn't happen. And why was it not happening? Well, because I didn't have the motivation to do it. I was busy. I feel like I had a lot going on. I never had the time to do it. And so what did I do when I would fall short? I would feel guilty, shameful, want to run and hide and tell myself, well, maybe I wasn't meant to do this after all. Maybe God, maybe I misheard the Lord. Maybe, just maybe, I don't know. Because I've been telling these people I'm going to do these things. I haven't been doing it. And because I haven't been doing it because I haven't felt motivated to do it. I haven't been feeling well. I've been feeling a little sad, a little depressed, a little anxious, a little overwhelmed. So how can I get on here and help them and edit videos when I don't feel like it? And The guilt and shame. So that is another reason why the Lord doesn't want you relying on motivation. Because when you don't have the motivation to do something, you fall short. Now here comes guilt and shame. He don't want you walking around feeling guilty and shameful. That is not from the Lord. That is not from the Lord. Condemnation and all of that, that is not from the Lord. That is from the enemy. That's from the accuser of the brethren. Okay. And yeah, that's something that I did for years, for years. But I'm going to pause here. I want to see if Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews, if you have any thoughts, comments, anything you want to add before I continue, because we gonna be in and out in less than 30 minutes. I promise y'all. He used to say that. No, I'm gonna get better at that. But I'll keep going, and I'll look to see if you leave a comment. I'll be sure to address it. So what do you do? If you are not to rely on motivation alone, then what do you do? Like, what else do you do? Okay, now, because maybe you are asking this question because you were someone like me. Like, if I'm not supposed to rely on motivation, if I'm not supposed to binge on listening to these motivational speakers to help me get through tough things or tough seasons so that I can do my goals, like, or stick with my goals, what do I do? Okay, now, listen, was that just me? Was I the only person binging sermons or binging motivational speakers to boost me up, to be my cheerleaders, to get me to do the things that I wanted to do, but I ain't like I could do? Was that just me? I just need to know. And there's no shame in that, right? Because again, when we learn better, we do better. And now that I know better, I know to do better. And so, what has the Lord shown me? He's shown me Nasheia, no. Okay, let me. I'm getting ahead of myself. Do not rely on motivation. That's not going. That's good for the initial start, but that ain't going to be what's going to keep you going, especially when it get tough. That is not going to be enough. So what he showed me is, one, I had to do a lot of work on my belief system, right? A lot of inner work, inner core beliefs, right? Because what you can't do is you can't build something great on a broken foundation. Ooh, put that on a t-shirt, okay? You cannot, I'm gonna get to that in 1 second, Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. You cannot build something great on a faulty foundation. So how can I think that I'm going to build something great when internally I feel unworthy? I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like my self-worth is dependent on my accomplishments. You can't. Okay? You can show up and put on a front for other people, but when you close that laptop and you go in that bathroom, you look in that mirror, if you don't believe that you're worthy, if you don't believe that you're good enough, if you believe that your self-worth is dependent on the validation of others, if you believe that if you show up on YouTube and you do a live and only one person join your live, or maybe no people join your live, that means that you're unworthy. If you believe that, or you believe that what you have to say is not valuable, if you have those negative beliefs, then of course you're not going to be motivated to continue on. Of course you're not going to have the energy to navigate those hard seasons. You're just not, because your foundation is faulty. So the Lord told me I had to do an identity shift, identity reset. Okay, meaning, what do I mean by that? Meaning that I know my identity is in Christ, right? We all say, oh, my identity is in Christ. I know that cognitively, but I had to do a lot of emotional healing work, and I still am, right? I will never arrive. It's going to be ongoing for the rest of my life. But I had to do a lot of emotional work, just understanding where my self-worth comes from, that I'm validated from Christ alone, not from likes on YouTube, not from comments on YouTube, not from what my husband say, not from what my daughter say, that my validation comes from Christ alone. And if other people want to give extra sources of validation, that's like a dessert, but that's not the meal. Okay, that's what I had to learn. I also had to learn, and I shared this with in one of the shorts that I did earlier this week, Atomic Habits. Let me tell you, that book right there is transformational. It has helped me to understand how to stay consistent with my goals long term. And it's so simple, but it's so true. So what I learned from that is, stop trying to do everything so big so fast. Instead, start slow. Okay? Micro, atomic, small. Why? Because when it's small, you can build momentum. Okay, so you can sustain that. So, like, I used to struggle to put out a video consistently, but then I said, okay, instead of me trying to make these 10-minute videos, 12-minute videos, I'm gonna just go to shorts. And again, I know I can't please everybody because some people do prefer the longer videos, but it ain't my season right now. I got to be consistent. So as you can see, I've been consistent with the 3-minute shorts. I do those Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, I need a day to recharge, okay? Also learning how to respect and honor my emotional capacities, okay? It's another area of growth for me. But I'm seeing the momentum with that. I'm like, okay, I've been consistent with that, okay? But that's because I went small, real small, 3 minutes small. And that's what the book talks about, how to build systems, because the systems is going to help you show up on the days when you don't have no energy. So for me, I told myself, this is what I did. I said, okay, Nasheia, you are very passionate about encouraging women and ministry and all of that. You're passionate about that. But don't build anything. Don't build a ministry from where you are at your what am I trying to say? Don't build this from your best day or your best moment. You need to build it for their worst day. Because in the beginning, right, when it's that long dry season, when you don't really see much fruit, you're gonna have to keep showing up again and again and again and again. That's where you need to build. You need to build for the days where you know when a seasonal depression hit and you don't want to get out that bed. Build for those days. Build for the days where you just going through it. Maybe you dealing with grief and you like, listen, I ain't gonna be able to do no 30-minute video, but I can do a 3-minute. Build for that. That's what the Lord showed me. Build small and build systems. Because a system, you don't need motivation for a system. And that's how I was able to stick with those workouts, those 104 workouts, because there was a system. My workouts were already planned. My trainer will hold me accountable. He check in. And when I'm done, I hit completed the workout. There was a system in place. I knew the time that I would work out. I leave my yoga mat out in front of my living room on the floor. I leave it there. Hey, walk around it. Sorry. But I leave it there because why? I don't want to have no excuses. When it's time to work out, I don't want to say, oh, I don't know where my yoga mat at. I don't know where my weights at. I just keep everything. I'm so glad that this is helpful for you, Faith Family Fun Reviews. I just leave everything in that proper place. Now I would go grab the book, but it's in the living room and I don't feel like getting up. But it's Atomic Habits by James Clear. Let me tell y'all, that book right there, I'm telling you, it really helped me. It really helped me to understand the concept of a system. So there's 3 things that the book talks about. It's 3 things that you need to have for like transformation. Okay. Now, of course, they don't talk about the Lord Jesus Christ, but that's going to always be my number one. But you can, as I heard someone say, you can eat the meat and spit out the bones. So of course they ain't talking about Jesus in there. Of course, that's first for me. Okay, that's my story. But in addition to Jesus, okay, you need to do a have a system, build a system, do an identity shift. That is more important if you ask me. And this is so good. Okay, now I told you I ain't gonna go off on tangents, but I'm sorry. I got one coming up right now. This is so good because what I was doing, like I told you, I was building on a faulty foundation, but also I would have the system because you can have the system still, but if you don't have the identity shift, then you're gonna self-sabotage. So that's why that's important. In my opinion, that's the most important first because a lot of people they don't do that. They set goals and they just say, first of all, they set goals that are unrealistic. And what I mean unrealistic for their current self-perception of how they view themselves. You can't tell yourself, hey, I'm gonna go out here and be a best-selling author if deep down inside you don't think you're good enough. You don't even think you could barely write because your brain, its job is to protect you. It's going to say, oh, no, you tripping. That is a lie. And it's going to reject that. So you have to make sure that you work on your identity first, okay? Do that every day. Now, I will show you my book because I want y'all to see. Now, I ain't playing. This is real for me, okay? So this is, I know it's a little thick, but this is my journal that I use. And I just want to show you what I do. I do this every day. Okay, I'm not perfect, so I do it maybe 85% of the time, which is pretty good. And what I do is I challenge my beliefs, my negative beliefs, and I do it every day. Why? Because I'm trying to work on that identity shift. So let me just show you. Okay, so this is an example from you can't see it, but it's okay. From October 7th. And it's like a 10-step process that I do to challenge my negative beliefs. And I won't go through all of that right now for the sake of time. But that's key because you have to do that identity shift. And so you want to have the identity shift. You want to have your systems in place, and you want to. It was a third piece too. I can't think of it right now. But it's like a third part of it too. Shoot, I'm so sorry, I can't even think of it, but I'll put it in the community post. The three things that you need to truly be successful when it comes to achieving your goals. So let me leave you with a practical application. What is something that you can do? Okay, because you're watching this live, maybe now or later, and you're like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but what can I do? What can I do? You tell me motivation ain't enough. What can I do? So this is what I'm going to give you. Do one thing to do. Okay. So two things. You could choose one of the two, or you can do both. Number one, I want you to spend some time writing down your current core beliefs. Okay, the beliefs that are holding you back from achieving your goals. Okay, you may be thinking, well, I don't know what I believe about myself. Okay, sit, get still, turn off all the TV, turn off all the noise, sit still and pray and ask the Lord to show you, Lord, what do I truly believe about myself? And in your subconscious, you may start to hear internally, deep down, I really don't feel like I'm good enough. I really feel like I'm an imposter. I really feel like, I'm unworthy. Okay. Get that on paper. No judgment. Okay. This is more about just having a revelation and an understanding of what your internal dialogue is like. So you want to get that written down. Okay. So that's one activity you can do. And then when you do that, what I would encourage you to do along with that, if you choose to do that, if you choose to do that, is to, when you get those negative or limiting beliefs down, go to the scripture and find scriptures, the truth that counter those negative beliefs. Okay, what does God say about you? You may not see yourself in a positive light right now because of maybe all that you've been through, the trauma, the way that people treat you, and you've internalized that bad treatment as a sense of low self-worth, which is not true. Okay, but God's word is true. So put your negative beliefs on the left and put God's truth on the right. Okay, so that's one thing you could do. Second thing, create a system to help you stay consistent with developing your new habit/goal. So a system, and plan this system in a way where you know you will show up even on your worst day. So let me give you a quick example. Say you want to write a book. Okay, say you want to write a 250 page book. Your system may look like, we're talking about atomic, right? Small. So we don't want to get overly ambitious and say, oh, I'm going to write 50 pages a day, or I'm going to eat 5 pages a day, because that's just too big. How do you go from not ever writing a book before to now you're going to write 5 pages a day? And then when you don't write those 5 pages a day, now here come the guilt, here come the shame. So instead, you may start super small. You may say, I'm going to write a paragraph a week. And you may be like, wow, that is so small. Yes, it is. But could you write a paragraph a week when you're depressed? That's the question. Can you write a paragraph a week when you're depressed? Now, I don't know. Each person is different. I know for me, I can write a paragraph because that's just so small. I can do that. My brain is like, okay, that's small, and you can do that. But if you ask me to write 5 pages when I'm depressed, that's not going to happen. A paragraph, you might even get 2 out of me. After that, I'm like, oh, I'm tired of doing this. But each person has their different emotional limitations and capacities. So you have to find out what works for you. But create your system in a way where it'll still work, even in your worst moments, your worst seasons, your worst days. And then this is just as a bonus. I don't have this written down, but as a bonus, also get you some accountability. Okay, get you some accountability. So if you want to write a book, join a writing group. Join a writing group. That's what I'm doing, because I do plan to write my second book. But I know on my own, I just know it ain't gonna be, the motivation gonna wear off, and I ain't gonna want to do it. So I've decided to join a writing group to help hold me accountable. So with that being said, we're gonna do a quick recap and then we're gonna be done. See, look, I'm in and out in 30 minutes. Look at God. So quick recap: motivation is not enough. Why? Number one, the feelings are fleeting and they fade away. Point number two, when the feelings do fade, you can slow down or stop, and here comes the guilt and shame. And we don't want you going around feeling guilty or shameful. Okay, that is not from the Lord. And I gave you some practical things that you could do, and I think that's all I have. Let me just make sure I covered everything. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I have for y'all. Let's see. Faith, family, and firm reviews. Do you have any thoughts, questions? Now, you did ask me about a PO box. I don't have a PO box right now. But you know what? I'll look into get one. But no, I don't have a P.O. box. But I'll look into that. But is there anything else? Any other question, comment, thought, anything before we wrap up for today? And I'll just give you a few seconds to type if you're typing. And if not, I will I don't have any announcements to share this time. So yeah, I don't have any announcements to share this time. I guess the only thing I will say is if you have any suggestions for topics that you will want me to speak about, you can just let me know. Just let me know by putting them in the comments. I mean, the in the community post for future topics, because right now the topics that I get just come from like honestly just every day. Like if I like doing my reflection time, the Lord will tell me something, or I'll see something, or I'll hear something. I'm like, oh, I think this will be helpful. Anything that I think will be helpful for you all, I'll just write that down like as a topic. But yeah. So when can you expect the next live? I'm going to say next Wednesday around the same time, 12 o'clock to 12:30. Well, today's Thursday, but next Wednesday, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. That is my, desired time. And I do understand I have grown and I have matured, and I understand the importance of being consistent with the day and the time, because I used to be like, well, I'm gonna just have to just do it when I can do it. But that's hard for people to follow. It's hard for people. It's just not, predictable. And at that time, when I was doing that, that was just my season, right? That was just my life with work, doing a lot of litigation work. I'm not doing as much litigation work now, so I have a lot more predictability with my schedule, and so I can extend that predictability to you all, because I understand that that's important, and that's how you really build true connections, by being predictable and reliable and consistent. So you can expect for the next live next Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern Standard. Oh gosh, sorry. I just forgot I'm gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be traveling next Wednesday. I'm gonna be in Houston next Wednesday. But I'm still gonna go live. Okay. I don't know if it's 12:30 because I don't know exactly where I'm gonna be. But just look in the community post. I'll give an updated community post. You see, I'm trying, but then things just be happening, you know what I mean? But let's just how about I say it this way? You can expect that unless I'm traveling or something else that's beyond my control, that the lives will be on Wednesdays from 12:30 to 1, no longer than 30 minutes. And if something else pops up or arises, then I will give as much notice as possible and put it in the community post. Does that work? Okay. All right. And I'm looking to get in that PO box. But okay, with that being said, I hope you all, you, Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews, and to those who may be watching this later, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, you're not in this journey alone. Let me hold your hand and walk with you as we both grow together, heal together, and follow Christ. Take care and have a blessed day on purpose. Bye bye.